Thank you, Your Excellency, for your inspiring speech. We kindly ask you to please take a seat as we welcome the other distinguished guests together. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us please welcome to the stage His Excellency, Mr. Riyad Mazzour, Minister of Industry and Trade. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much. We are also welcoming His Excellency Younes Sekouri, Minister of Economic Inclusion, Small Business, Employment and Skills of the Kingdom of Morocco. Welcome to you, sir. We are also welcoming on stage His Excellency Mohammed Abdel Jalil, Minister of Equipment, Transport and Logistics, as he's making his way to the scene. Welcome to you, sir. We are honored to have among us Mr. Sheikh Nian, Secretary General of Energy, Ministry of Energy, Petroleum and Mines of the Republic of Senegal. Please welcome him on stage as well. And we are also very privileged to have among us Mr. Shakib Lelij, representing the private sector, President of the General Confederation of Moroccan Enterprises, CGEM. Thank you all. Please take your seats as Mr. Shakib Lelij is joining us. Thank you, everyone, for your commitment and dedication to advancing the energy transition in our region. Your presence, all of you here, really underscores the high level of commitment and endorsement for this crucial topic. Before we dive in, we have received a video from Her Excellency Tien van der Straten, Minister for Energy of the Kingdom of Belgium. Let's watch it together and be back for the conversation. Thank you.
Dear Minister Ben Ali, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. Congratulations on the growing success of the Power to X Summit. Last year, we highlighted the importance of energy cooperation, specifically in green hydrogen. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe and a vast source of clean fuel. It can reduce carbon emissions and tackle climate change. For investors, it's an equally rich source of economic opportunity. Morocco and Belgium have delivered on this commitment. In April, we have successfully negotiated and signed a Memorandum of Understanding on cooperation in the energy transition. The partnership includes collaborative research and development on green hydrogen. One key area for hydrogen development is the shipping industry. Shipping is the lifeblood of international trade. But beneath the surface lies a pressing challenge. If shipping were a country today, it would be the world's third largest CO2 emitter. So let's focus on the future. Picture a world where those very ships, instead of emitting greenhouse gases, are powered by clean, renewable energy. And this is not a distant dream. This is the promise of hydrogen. Several pioneering shipping companies have already taken initiatives. They are not waiting for the industry to catch up. They are leading the change. They understand that the future of shipping depends on innovation, collaboration, and a commitment to sustainability. This transition is not without its challenges. Consider the certification of green hydrogen, international standards, and the infrastructure for its production, export, import, transportation, and use. It is my firm belief that we can tackle those challenges by working together to create the necessary infrastructure, establish certification standards, and develop a robust network for hydrogen production, transportation, and use. Belgium is ready to partner with you. We have established transport legislation and a plan to connect our coast to major consumption centers in Belgium and Germany. We believe in fair and equal partnerships. We may not know what the future holds, but we are preparing for it together. We shape the future. Belgium and its companies are ready to collaborate with their Moroccan counterparts, not just here at the conference, but for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency van der Straten, for your remarks and for taking us through this vision of what the world could be. Ladies and gentlemen, we have also received a video from Mr. Jochen Flassbart, State Secretary in the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development of the Federal Republic of Germany. Let's listen to his remarks.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends. I'm sending my best and warmest regards to the Power to X World Summit to Marrakech in Morocco. I remember very well when I visited the last year's World Summit on Power to X in Marrakech, and it was just a couple of days after the horrible earthquake in your country. Everybody in the world thought that the Power to X Summit would not happen, because all the disaster had to be fixed. But still, the Moroccan government, the people of Morocco, hosted this enormously important event. We were all impressed. While you were mowing about the people, the lives you lost, at the same time, you started to fix what had been destroyed and to rebuild the infrastructure and the houses in your country. And at the very same time, you also invited and hosted the whole world for Power to X to discuss about the future of the world economy, which will be based on renewable energy, on green hydrogen and its derivatives. This year again, you are discussing with the world community how to enhance the collaboration. You made the Moroccan offer to enhance private capital investments in green hydrogen around the world. This is something which is desperately needed all around the world in all the economies of the future. Morocco is showing clear leadership. Unfortunately, I can't be in Marrakech this time, as we are hosting in Hamburg the Hamburg Sustainability Conference the first time, right at the same date. But still, there are some overlaps on the issues. We are also dealing with green hydrogen. We are discussing green shipping lines, also together with Morocco and other countries. So hopefully next year I can be in Marrakech again, and hopefully our Moroccan friends can be in Hamburg at the second edition in June next year of the Hamburg Sustainability Conference. Thank you for all what you are doing. Shukran, and all the best for the conference.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to hosting you in Morocco next year. Excellencies, we're going for 2 rounds of questions right now, really quick round of questions, and I'll start with you, Excellency Leila Ben Ali. In your view, what are the key success factors for Morocco to become a global leader in the emerging hydrogen economy, and how can the country leverage on its renewable energy resources to achieve this?
Wow, thank you very much. I need probably 3 hours to answer this question, which I don't have because I really want to leave the space for my colleague ministers and the president of our private sector and our dear guests from Senegal to really give their thoughts about what they are expecting Morocco to produce over the next few years as a potential, as I said, the only corridor linking Africa, Europe, and the Atlantic Basin. And I think some of the key factors of success were already mentioned by our dear friends, Her Excellency Tina from Belgium and His Excellency Jochen from Germany. I think there's a lot of collaboration now and discussions of collaborations now that are happening. And for us, it's very clear that there is a clear interest in getting together and making sure that we go beyond the PowerPoint and the MOUs mentality into a little bit more binding contracts to say that if we are together on both sides of the Mediterranean, on both sides of the Atlantics, if we are serious about bringing the lowest cost possible energy and the cleanest energy to our people, because the world is facing more and more volatility, more and more inflation. It's time. It's time to really to show that credibility to our populations. I remember at the beginning of 2024, we were a bit concerned with including with our European partners, and some of our African partners as well, because 2024, it was an election year. You have 50% of the world population that is electing their leaders in 2024. It's not very conducive to have discussions about long-term contracts to be able to finance the type of infrastructure that we need to minimize the costs of green energy, green electrons, and green molecules. So the key factors of success that Morocco brings, first and foremost, is this stability, long-term vision. And when I say stability, it's not only political stability, it's also policy stability. And the fact that we are in this game for the long term, because it's only by getting together and structuring contracts in the safest way possible. And we have 15 years of experience in developing renewable energy projects. Mazen here knows that very well. I mean, they took the bet of a CSP technology back in the beginning of 2010. We need bold leaders and bold entities like that that will enable us to get into the projects and start them. And along the road, of course, there will be mistakes. Of course, we will have to be agile and flexible to say, well, I mean, on the PowerPoint slide, it looked nice, but actually in reality, the project might not reach the rate of return. Actually, we might go bankrupt. Actually, there might be some deficits. So we need to have the courage, and I'm sorry to say the political courage, and we think that Morocco has that political courage to say, we've had the private sector involved in the energy sector for more than 30 years, including in areas where the private sector has historically not been involved. And we have more than 15 years of experience in developing cutting-edge technologies in the renewable space. So we provide you with a framework and a regulatory and institutional framework called the Morocco Hydrogen Offer to enable you to take those risks with us. So the key factors of success are definitely this long-term stability in the vision.
Thank you very much for reminding us of these key fundamentals. Your Excellency Riyad Mazzour, in light of Morocco's growing ambitions in green hydrogen and renewables, how can the country enhance its industrial integration to support these sectors and create a competitive advantage in global green energy markets?
Well, I had the question before, and I was thinking about the way to answer. There are two ways. Let's be positive and say we have a lot of potential. We have $100 billion market that is coming to install all these facilities in the next 5, 6, 7 years. And if we are good, we can take 30 billion of local production. And then we have to see where we are. And now, if we see where we are, we have a chance to take a 3-4 billion contract out of this 100 billion. So we need to build our ecosystem to be able to reach the target of 30 to 40%. Up to 60% integration means we're getting 30% or 25% value added locally. What does it mean at the end of the day? It does mean, first of all, to be ready, and we are. Our industrial partners, our ecosystem, investors are there and are ready. Ready enough, I'm not sure. We're working on it. We need to be ready. Second, we need to make people that are investing trust them, because they're used to work with other suppliers, with other partners. I mean, they're installing renewable energy mass, but bringing people from China to install them, even if we have people locally that are able to do that, that invested to do that, and that are cheaper in doing that. So we need to educate our investors to use local capabilities and local talents. Third, we need to be clear. I have a good friend. He's in the room here, always telling me, what are we getting out of that? We're giving our land, we're giving sun, we're giving wind. What is the gain for Morocco and for Moroccans? The only gain, or we have two, it's linked to power to X for me means power to jobs. I need to convert this ability to create power in jobs for our people, and good jobs. And these good jobs will be taken in building the value chain, in using our innovation, in educating our investor to use local technology and to integrate local content, and in transforming the molecule into products. But this is the second question, I think.
Thank you very much, Excellency. We need the trust, we need clarity, and we need a win-win collaborations. And we need to create jobs, which offers a perfect transition. For me, Your Excellency Younous Kouri, what role does the promotion of employment and skills play in the transition to greener and more innovative industries, and how is your ministry preparing to meet the growing demands for new skills, especially in light of the national strategy for green hydrogen?
Thank you for your question, and thank you for the invitation, Leila. I'd like to take it from what was said just before. With your speech on humility, it provides important thoughts on the posture we should have at the national level, so that all the process is conducted with scrutiny, with precise objectives, but with a soul. The question we ask ourselves in the government while we're preparing this new roadmap on employment, you know that we've been working on that for a couple of months now, and we will be announcing the new map by the next weeks, is for this specific sector, what are we facing exactly? We're facing a double paradigm shift in terms of investment, employment. It's related to two parameters. The first one is the change on skills. So the question is, all the investors, the investments, are they requiring new skills, total new skills that we need to prepare? Or can we build on what we have? And to what extent we will be offering the scale that is necessary to be parallel to the investment effort that Her Excellency Minister has just announced a couple of minutes ago. And the second parameter is what kind of business model will or is being implemented within these investments, within these operators, and to which we need to pay a lot of attention, otherwise we will lose the opportunity in terms of employment. So it's definitely an innovation, a major innovation, and innovation is defined by these two parameters. When you have the same skills, the same business model, it's a routine innovation. When you have different skills, the same business model, then it's incremental. When you have the same skills and a different business model, which seems to be the case, it starts to be a disruptive one. And when you have different skills and different business models, then you're in a architectural innovation. So if we believe that the way we position the Moroccan offer for green hydrogen, for instance, will bring architectural innovation, then the investments we need to do in skills need to be really, really, really important. The ILO gives a couple of figures. In 2020, the overall number of employments generated by the sector was around 20 million. The forecast for 2030 is around 26, 27. But what is important to observe is that the number of jobs that will be destroyed will be around 6 to 7 million, while the ones who will be created are much more. So we are definitely in front of a real opportunity, around 28,000 per year, if my figures are good. So the effort we will be making is to make sure that the training facilities that we offer in partnership with the private sector, and we have 3 examples that are very successful, one in Oujda, one in Tangier, one in Ouarzazate, that we call IFMERE, les instituts de la formation dans les métiers des énergies renouvelables et de l'efficacité énergétique, in which we deliver something around 2,000 students per year. Of course, this is not sufficient. We have also 2,000 other institutes of training where we train 660,000 people in vocational training in general. But for employment in particular, our focus is on, one, what types of bonuses the government can provide for the specific investments that are made so that it's impactful and so that it can accompany the integration that His Excellency Minister Riyad was just advocating a couple of minutes ago. The second thing is, it's not just a question of bonuses of what we would inject in terms of facilities, but it's also about the scale of the market, the available resources that will be on the ground. And one last thing is that we need to differentiate between the 3 types of employments that this very specific change will bring. The direct employments are not very, very, very big. It's 10% of what we need. We need 300,000 per year. It might provide 30,000. While you have the indirect and more specifically the inferred employments. Yes, and this is where you spoke about the industry, the mobility, and the electricity itself. So the idea is not to focus on the core business itself solely, but also on the surroundings.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing these insights with us. Excellency Abdel Jalil, from your perspective, what measures is your ministry taking to ensure that the logistics sector is prepared to support the growing demand for renewable energy?
Thank you very much. Yeah, it works. Okay. But first of all, I wanted to share something with the audience. It wasn't planned I'd be on the stage, so I didn't know the question before. And but I couldn't.
We're very happy to have you.
But I couldn't resist going on the stage with my colleagues. Well, basically, of course, the transportation sector and logistics sector is one of the biggest energy consumers and is directly impacted by the need of the transition. And I'm very happy that this World Summit is going on year after year in Marrakech because it helps things move. H2 is the basis for e-fuels, and we'll be, we are planning to have an e-fuel conference in probably Morocco in 2025 with our colleagues from Germany. My colleague, Dr. Wissing, already organized 2 of them. It's a very important conference because it brings in politicians, the industry sector, and scientists and researchers to see what kind, yes, of fuels will be fueling the transportation sector. We've been hearing about the shipping and hydrogen and maybe ammonia, but as a Minister for Transportation, I'm open, and I think we need to give chance to any type of energy to develop, and we'll be needing all of them. Now, I just wanted to mention something about this transition. We are talking about a global problem, and we need to think about what kind of policies or policy frameworks at the world level could help us transition, because it's no need for developing countries to transition if others do not. 7 out of 8 persons live in developing countries where there is still a need for developing the systems for transportations. And of course, if the hydrogen or e-fuels are too costly, then they'll be still using the classical fuels to do their transportation. So I'd like to advocate the fact that we need to promote more multilateralism and more solidarity at the international level if we want the energy transition to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much for highlighting that. Secretary General Sheikh Nyan, it is such an honor to have you with us, and we want to extend a warm welcome to our brothers and sisters from Senegal. Senegal has demonstrated a growing interest in renewable energies and green hydrogen through the establishment of several solar parks, to name a few. Could you provide us with an overview of the ongoing initiatives and projects in this sector? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. And I would like first to thank Minister Leila Ben Ali for the invitation. It's a great honor for us to be here today. So what I can say for Senegal, I think 10 years ago, we was very low in terms of renewables. We was having less than 7% in our mix of energy in terms of renewables. But we understood very early, around 2010, the need to have a good regulatory framework. So our first law in terms of renewable was in 2010, only for renewable energy. And also we implement a national agency only in charge of renewable energy and to implement renewable energy projects. 3 years ago, we updated the regulatory framework with a low electricity law where we promote renewables. And now we are having around 30% renewable energy in our mix with many solar power plants, wind power plants. We have the largest wind farm in West Africa. And we are continuing on this train. And last year, during a Pact of Paris, we signed a very important partnership with our friends from the G7 countries in Europe that we call the Just Energy Transition Partnership, where the developed country committed to put in place 2.5 billion euros investments, and where we are committed also in Senegal to go up to 40% renewable in our mix. So this was a very huge achievement and very huge, signature for us. But now we have to move forward in doing less bureaucracy and being very pragmatic on the approach, because as you know, we are very good sometimes to sign MOUs and PowerPoints like Minister Leila said, but the challenge will be to implement this project. So we need to work on having little less MOU, little less power plants, little less talking and much more actions and implementing, because the population cannot wait, all this bureaucracy, and we need to be very pragmatic on the way, to implement such projects. Because in our countries, we have these challenges in terms of access to electricity in some of the areas. And I think that the mini-grid solars are very good as a solution to implement in this area. And so I think that Morocco give a very good example to all the African countries on how to implement solar power plants that can have impact on the populations. And in Senegal, we're looking forward using these renewables in order to enable access to electricity, in order also to reduce the cost of production, which is also a challenge for industrialization of our countries, because we have the chance to have here the Minister of Industry, Economy, and also Transportation. In all of these sectors, I think renewable can have a key role to play. That's what we're trying to do in Senegal, where we have this bus rapid transit, which is feed 100% by solar, which is an innovation in the world that we just did with a French company. And also, we are trying to have industrialization of our country, because we cannot develop our country without industrialization. And I think the renewable can have a great role on that one. And we are definitely working on it.
Thank you so much for sharing that review with us, and special thanks also to His Excellency Minister of Energy, Petroleum and Mines, who really wanted to join us today, but unfortunately couldn't make it. We hope to host him very soon. Thank you again for your remarks. Mr. Shakib Lalij, from a private sector perspective, what is your view on this, and how has the green hydrogen Moroccan offer responded to the requests made by the private sector, and what additional measures are being proposed by CIGRM?
Well, thank you for the question. Well, Power to X is reliable and for the future of renewable energy. We have it's a response for challenges such as storage, decarbonize some industries that are difficult to electrify, like shipping, aeronautics, and heavy industries. And also it will stabilize the consumption of renewable energy, which will be like 25% by 2050 of the energy will be renewable. The flagship of renewable energy is the green hydrogen, exactly, where Morocco will have a role to play. Morocco is, from the point of view of specialists, has one of the 6 countries who have all the chance to produce very cheap energy because of the wind, because of the solar, the combination of the two of them, because of the situation, geographic situation, and also the experience like Noor and big experiences in renewable energy. Now, the offer of the Moroccan offer is very interesting because it responds to most of our interrogation, like, for example, creating jobs, creating also an ecosystem. It's very important for us. Like we did in the car industry in Morocco, we would like to have an ecosystem where all the SMEs and the small industries in Morocco can profit from this experience. As we all know, the technology is new and will evolve in years to come. So the proposal also integrate this prospect of technology and give the chance to everybody to come and play a role in producing this green energy. So as a private sector, the most important thing is that it's a game changer for us. We have to decarbonize our industry and decarbonize the countries who are near to us. So we need to be, we need to play a role and also a change of technology and be present in this whole ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing the perspective of the private sector. Excellencies, I'd like to offer you a final round, really quick one, so we could continue the program together. Secretary General Sheikh Niane, as a final word, in terms of cooperation, how do you think the Morocco-Senegal collaboration can strengthen the energy transition for both our countries and also the continent as a whole?
Yeah, thank you very much. For energy transition, I think that with Morocco, we are working very closely. I think that the Minister Leila Ben Ali is having a very good leadership on that one, especially on this gas pipeline that we're doing from Nigeria to Morocco, even passing by Senegal and all this country. So these are this kind of strategic investment that we have to do in the continent, in order to develop our country. And also, I think even in terms of nuclear, we have a very good, cooperation with the Knesset of Morocco. But I think that a part of that, we should continue having in grid transportation, transmission line, working on projects to have interconnection between the countries. We started in West Africa, there's also in North Africa, but we need to work on it in order to have, electricity market between the African countries, and I think that Senegal and Morocco can have the leadership on that one. And I think also we need to go to the COP29 with the voice of Africa, regarding what we can do with renewables, and also to develop the gas as an energy transition to industrialize our country. And I think that our two countries can have a very good role on that one. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A voice for Africa. I like that one. Excellency Minister Abdel Jalil, what would be the key message you want to leave us with as a final round?
Simply that, as I mentioned, it is a global subject, so it has to be tackled with international cooperation. And at our national level, I wanted just to mention that we are preparing a mobility charter that will, of course, take into account sustainability, and that will prepare for a vision for how mobility should be for the Moroccan citizens in the next decade. And we're working on that in the next few months.
Thank you so much, Excellency Minister Mazur. Probably a last word on the potential for new industries emerging.
Well, first message, we're waiting for you. We're waiting for your green electrons. We're waiting for your green molecules. Please accelerate. Because if we don't have your molecules and we don't have your electrons, we are unable to produce green. We are very competitive in Morocco now. We have value chains that reach the competitiveness of Asia, that are better than China in terms of competitiveness and quality. But the missing link is you, green energy. Please be fast, be quick, be competitive. Off-takers are waiting for you in Morocco and outside Morocco. Well, we know you have a lot of grants. We know you have a lot of countries supporting to install you in their country. Do it. But never forget that the most competitive way of developing this kind of projects is the sustainable way, without grants, but with off-takers, with the ability to transform these electrons and molecules into products that are very competitive and that serve the world on the long run without any doping. And this is what we're offering now. Second, use all the facilities we're giving to you. We're not only giving land, wind, sun. We are giving brains. We are giving people, hard-working people, motivated company, a good base of people that are only expecting you to use them to develop this type of product or to cooperate with you developing this type of project. Do not exclude them. Read my lips. I will not let you exclude them. I repeat, read my lips. I will not let you exclude them. Third message. Here is the future of the energy security. We're talking about the future of energy security of the region. In Morocco, we have no other choice than to transition, and we will do it. We hope we can do it with you as soon as possible.
Thank you so much for your final remarks, Minister Mazur. Very strong remarks. Minister Sekouri, what would be one key message you would like to leave us with today?
Thank you. Well, we are asked to provide quality, variety, and scale in terms of resources. Otherwise, we will lose and miss the opportunity. And for us to be able to provide these three pillars, we need a model of governance in terms of training. And we've been experimenting with the support of a couple of agencies, especially the French Agency of Development, this model of governance where you build schools of training with the private sector. And of course, for the case of your sector, Madam Minister, it's already a success. Now the question is, do we have the ambition to scale up very quickly and make sure that the professionals, the private sector, is involved in the management of these training facilities in order to provide the scale at the right place on the right time. I'm very optimistic because we've got very ambitious investment plans, and we have the engagement of the operators, and I can tell that we also have the expertise now, after a couple of years of experimentation, where we provide one of the best skills in the region and maybe in the world for a couple of courses.
Thank you for that optimistic note. I'd like to offer the private sector also the opportunity to say a final word. What's one key message you would like us to leave with from the private sector perspective?
Well, you can hear me, yeah. Well, everything has been said. What I will say that all the ingredients are here. Everybody agrees that all the ingredients are here. The proposal is here from the government. Last year we didn't have a proposal. The private sector is mobilized to the success of this game changer for our country and our economy. Now we have to, like Minister Mazur said, we have to start developing for our economy and for the whole economy of the world. That's it.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency Leila Ben Ali. As we wrap up this ministerial panel, what does success mean to us for this summit? As we embark on this 4th edition of the World Power to X Summit, what are some specific outcomes you would like to see to consider it a success?
Be careful what you wish for. No, I would really love to maybe continue what Mr. Shakib Al-Alij was saying, the president of the private sector, and to, of course, I would wish everyone here successful discussions, a few contracts, some technology innovations, additional jobs, some manufacturing facilities in Morocco. Indeed, that's what we would love to see out of this Power to X Summit. But for me, if 4 people that are in this room, and I would like to take this occasion to also acknowledge the presence of 3 very important institutions. Mr. Khalid Safir, Director General of la CDG, who is an institutional investor, more and more interested in the energy transition space and sustainable development space. Mr. Zarnoun, Director General of l'Agence Nationale des Participations de l'État, with whom we are working very, very hard in transforming the public side of the business. And of course, I think I saw a director from Le Fonds Mohamed VI d'Investissement. So if at the end of those World Power to X Summit, you are able to convince these 3 people, Le Fonds Mohamed VI, la CDG, l'ANXPE, and the president of our private sector here, that you were able to come up with innovating solutions on the technical side and the financial side, and creating additional jobs in Morocco and the region, I think it would be a very successful Power to X indeed. So I will ask these 3 people after the Power to X what they thought and whether they were actually approached or convinced by our beautiful ecosystem here on some innovative solutions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we do wish that you get the most value out of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your insights. We would like to kindly invite you to a group photo before we proceed with the rest of the program. Please step forward to the stage for the group photo. Your Excellency, Minister Ben Ali, please join the photo as well.